Okay, this first lesson drawing graphics on the screen. What I mean by graphics is actually things like this interface where you can see a series of lines. You can actually draw little pictures. They're collectively referred to as graphics. So we're going to start creating some of our own graphics. The key aim today is for me to introduce you to some simple commands. The first one is an import command. We've used it to import random numbers. Now we're going to import a graphics library called Turtle. It's not strictly for drawing graphics, it's a particular set of libraries, but it's a nice interface to get used to. It will create a window and it will allow us to draw graphics in it. To do this, it is important that you install Python. We can't do this using Python Anywhere. Python Anywhere doesn't support the graphics. So it is important that you have installed Python. Easiest way is to go to python.org. And if you go to python.org and download the relevant version of Python for your computer, just show you some of the installers. So there's the python.org website. If you go to downloads, you've got Windows version. I've installed Windows 3.8. It's quite stable. Avoid version 2, just because it's older. It's being maintained for backwards compatibility. They've made some serious changes between version 2 and version 3, which is why they keep maintaining 2 versions at the moment, but it will change. You also have Python available for Mac OS. You definitely get it for Linux. I'm just checking to see if we get it for Chrome. Can't see it. No, it doesn't look like you can get it on Chrome. So if you're using Chrome, to be able to work with this, you will probably have to get onto a proper computer. Or a full computer, not a proper computer. It's probably to do with the restrictions upon that Google put into Chrome to reduce people being able to access the operating system at a low level, and therefore reducing some of their own problems. So I'm just going to introduce these commands. I'm going to try and draw a grid with you using a for command, and your job at the end of this is to try and change that grid program so that using the fills you can actually get it to draw a checkerboard. I'm interested in the way you approach it more than necessarily getting the proper checkerboard. But having installed Python, you'll normally get it loading up and it will come up with a white screen. I find that quite bad for reading. You've seen me use this before in other ones. I've got a dark blue background with colourful front. If you're using Python idle, you can get to that by going to the options, you configure idle, and in the highlights you can select a built-in theme, which that's the classic view. You're going to see bright white. You've got a dark mode you can go to. Because of the way the comments look, I actually will use my own custom theme where my comments are slightly different colours and errors come up with a red background. That just makes things stand out on the computer screen a bit clearer. So that's installing and setting up Python. Let's get into creating some of the commands. So I'm not writing a program at the moment. We'll do that when I come to do the grid at the end. So at the moment, all I'm doing is I'm creating some commands and seeing what it does. The first one is to do an import, and we need to import Turtle with a lowercase t at the start. That comes back. I've now actually got a whole set of libraries available. To be able to use the commands, each of these commands, go to, pen up, pen down, begin, end, all need to be started with the command Turtle. We're telling it we've been brought in some program called Turtle, and I want to use parts of that Turtle. So if I do Turtle and say go to 0, 0, all that's going to do is actually get it to create the first window and put the pointer at the point 0, 0. Notice that's in the middle of the screen. So I'm going to keep working on this page now. If I want to move it, I'm going to move Good place, let's try 100 first, see how big 100 is on this, and I'm going to do it diagonally. So I go to 100, 100, and it draws a line between these 2 points, started at 0, 0, and we can see now how big 100 by 100 is. Notice the direction, x direction 100, y direction 100. Let's just check we know which one is which by drawing 100, 100, sorry I just accidentally hit F1. So just to check which direction we're going in, let's try position 200, 100. Now if it's normal directions as plotting points in maths, we expect that to go 200 across, not from this point but relative to the centre, and 100 up, so it should be a horizontal line. And that's what we're getting. We are actually using a normal coordinate system where in the middle of this screen is the coordinate 0, 0. Positive x values go to the right, positive y values go up, negative x values go to the left, negative y values go below that centre point. So it's all compared to this centre point. So I can move around, create a further shape. So let's bring it back to, I'm not going straight to the start, I'm going to go 100, 0. And I'm going to create a parallelogram by returning to the start. So now I've got a parallelogram outlined, but completely empty. If I want to move without drawing a line, what I have to do is tell it to pick a pen up. This sort of thing is actually based upon, they're actually based upon a robot that they've been around for years. This sort of robot where you've got wheels trundling around, and underneath it there's an actual pen that you can move up and down, which allows you to draw lines. That's what it's based upon. So the command turtle pen up removes the pen from the screen, and I can move it around to go to, let's go to 0, 100. So take a moment, think, where's that going to go to? The x coordinate is 0, so it's staying in this x direction above that point. The y coordinate is 100, so it's going to move right up to that point, 0, 100. And this time it's not drawing a line, it's moved. If I wanted it to start drawing lines, I could do turtle pen down. Now I'm going to start drawing another parallelogram like this one, but this one I would like to make it filled in with a colour. Initially black, next lesson we'll do some stuff with colours. So to start the film, I'm going to do a turtle dot begin film, all as with an underscore between the two words. It's a bit of a strange format. That's because this actually comes from another language. This is an actual language in its own right called Logo. So it follows slightly different conventions, but it's implemented in Python for us. So this is going to begin filling this shape. So I now need to go follow around. So I'm going to do turtle. I'm going to go diagonally from where I am. Remember that I'm at 0, 100 at the moment. So I want to go 100 right and another 100 up, 200. So I'm going around these positions. Then from there, I want to cross 200. Notice there's nothing to fill in yet. So I'm going to 200. The y value, I'm going horizontally, so the y value stays the same. And I draw a horizontal line. Then I came back and down, so it's back 100 and down 100. Now, notice here, you might think it would want to fill in this space here. But until you've actually closed off the shape or told it that from where it started, I'm now ready for you to fill in, it doesn't know what the shape is. I may do some cutouts in here, and that fill in then will take account of it. So if I do a turtle down, back to the next place, now keep hitting F1 on my keyboard for some reason. So it's 100, we come back 100 from here, and I want to come down 100, so that's down. Subtract 100 from the y coordinate. And I want to return to where I started, not the whole shape diagram, where I started that shape. So I want to go to my start point, which was 0, 100. Now we said we wanted to fill this in. I've now finished the bit I want to fill in, and I can now tell it to fill it. If you look at the structure of the command that started the fill, you'll probably guess. To finish it, I use end. So turtle.end fill. And now it'll color in that last shape I made. So all the commands in between it uses as a boundary around that shape. Let's do a reset on the screen. So the first thing I'm going to do, let's get the commands out of the way. So the first thing I'm going to do is tell it to reset its location. Reset. And that coordinate goes back and it clears the screen. If you just want to clear the screen, you can do turtle clear. Okay, so everything's back to normal. I'm back at the center. Pen should be down. I'm ready to start drawing. And as my introduction now, I'm just going to create a series of lines going horizontally. Now I'll leave it there for you to then continue to create a checkerboard, just a grid of 8 spaces. And if you want to go advanced, try and make the shade in alternate colours, so you can actually create properly coloured in pieces to make it look like a chess or a checkerboard. Checkers is the American name for drafts in English. So for my x coordinate, I need to go 4x. I'm going to do a range, and I want it to go a range up to and including 8. So I need 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need 8 spaces, which means I need 9 lines. So I'm going to count up to 9. Remember, for loops, colon on the end to say I've got a list of commands to follow it. So what I want to do is, first of all, I want to move to the start of the line. Initially this one's going to be here, but I'm going to say turtle, because I want to move. I'm going to do pen up, so it's not going to draw a line. In a minute I'll take this and we'll put it into a program. So turtle, do a pen up. Then turtle go to, and my x coordinate I want to multiply by 100. So it's going to do lines 100, a gap of 100 on them. Actually, let's make it 50. And I want it at the y position of 0. Now I need to think in a minute where I want to draw to. So let's do the turtle and do pen down. And again, so now start drawing lines. And the end of this line is going to be turtle. I want a vertical line, so it's x. We'll go to x times 50. And I want to go up 9 lines. 9 lots of 50, 450. And if I press enter, it will draw a series of lines horizontally. And that's it, having drawn those lines. You can do the same thing to go y direction and going horizontally, or you can even do this at the same time. So these ones you can also draw some horizontal lines at the same time as well. Just a quick recap. I want to put this into a program. So copy the code, do File, New, File, and this is where you create programs. I've put all my code in. I'm going to start with a comment, draw checkerboard, checker or chessboard. Make sure you've got your name on it. Do put some comments in. So each for statement should really have a comment to say what it's doing. Why are we repeating the statement so many times? So my for loop is draw vertical lines of the checkerboard or chessboard. And I'll just make sure my code lines up. If you're using Python idle, quick tip for you. If you want to indent and unindent, select a group of lines. And if you look in the, I think it's in the format, you've got this indent and de-indent regions. And they're using control square bracket right, square bracket left. So I'm going to select those, and I want to indent once right, so control and right, and that's all my code indented. Save it, and I notice one mistake. I know there's a mistake in what I've done. Let's just save that into my play space. Python new folder. I'll call this one turtle. And this program does a chessboard. And has anyone noticed the problem? If I try running this, I'm going to get errors. And the errors are to do with it doesn't know what turtle is now in my program. It doesn't pick up this import turtle from general. So I need to put an import turtle at the top of my program. All imports should be the first thing. So import program. And I want to do import turtle. You can do some commands like import turtle as t, and that allows you to reduce the name turtle to just being t's. There for you to find out about on your own a bit later. So I'm going to save that, and I'll run it now, and there's my lines being drawn. Okay, your job, go away, create a chessboard. If you can, try and fill them in so that we've got, starting in the bottom left-hand corner should be a white square, then black, white, black, white, black. If you can get that, that's seriously a grade A. Just doing a grid like this, you're in a grade B. Thank you very much.